Welcome to our channel.
All right, so you ready to dive into some seriously cutting-edge AI tech today?
Always.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So clearly you want to be ahead of the curve on this.
Absolutely.
Smart move, because this could be huge. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine editing a complex video on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
The kind of project that takes forever to render right now.
Yeah.
With these new chips, that same edit could be done in a snap.
It's really incredible.
To unpack this, we need to look at why the silicon chips in our devices are hitting their limits.
Right.
Then we'll explore the science behind these carbon-based chips and why they're so much faster and efficient.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll discuss what this breakthrough could mean for the future.
Right.
So to start, I think we've all experienced that frustration of waiting for a slow computer or phone.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I'll admit, I never realized that everyday annoyance was actually a sign of a much bigger problem.
It is. It all comes down to the limitations of those tiny transistors that power our electronics.
Okay.
Those transistors, the ones built from silicon, can only get so small before quantum physics starts getting in the way.
Wait, quantum physics? That sounds intense.
It is, but in simple terms, when you get down to the atomic level, electrons start acting unpredictably.
No.
It's like they can teleport through walls,
Oh,
which is called quantum tunneling.
okay.
This leads to errors, and it puts a hard limit on how small we can make silicon transistors, and therefore, how powerful we can make our devices.
Okay, I'm starting to see the problem.
Right.
So are we saying that we've essentially maxed out how fast our phones and computers can get with silicon?
Pretty much. And this isn't just about your Instagram feed loading a millisecond slower.
Right.
This limitation is a huge bottleneck for AI development.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear all the time about how AI needs huge amounts of data.
Exactly. And processing that data, especially for complex tasks like developing new medicines or modeling climate change, requires massive amounts of computing power. We're talking about weeks or even months of processing time on our current hardware, which obviously slows down progress.
And on top of that, there's the energy consumption to think about.
Oh, yeah.
I read somewhere that data centers,
Huge.
those massive server farms that power AI, consume a ridiculous amount of energy.
They do, and that has a significant environmental impact.
Yeah.
It's something we need to consider more as AI becomes more prevalent in our lives.
Right, so we've got silicon hitting its limits in terms of size, speed, and energy efficiency.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned another challenge, the von Neumann bottleneck.
Right.
What exactly is that?
Think of it like a rush hour traffic jam.
Okay.
In traditional computers, data has to constantly move back and forth between the processor, which is like the city center, and the memory, which is like the suburbs.
Okay.
This constant shuttling of information creates a bottleneck, slowing everything down and wasting energy.
Okay, I get the analogy.
Yeah.
So silicon is facing some serious limitations. But thankfully, it sounds like we have a potential solution in these carbon-based chips.
Right.
I have to admit, though, when I first heard about this, I thought carbon. Like the stuff in pencils?
Well, carbon is actually a pretty amazing element.
Okay.
It's the basis of all life, and it has some incredible properties at the atomic level that make it ideal for building super efficient electronics.
So how did scientists figure out that carbon could be used to make computer chips?
Researchers have been experimenting with carbon-based materials for electronics for a while now.
Okay.
But what's exciting is that a team of scientists in China has developed the world's first carbon-based AI chip.
Wow.
That's not just a little bit better, it's 1,000 times faster than traditional silicon chips.
Okay, you have me at 1,000 times faster.
Right.
But how's that even possible?
It all comes down to the structure of these chips.
Okay.
They use carbon nanotubes, which are basically tiny tubes of carbon atoms arranged in a honeycomb pattern.
Right.
These nanotubes can conduct electricity incredibly efficiently, much better than silicon.
So these carbon nanotubes are like superhighways for electrons.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the chips also use memristors, which are special components that can both store and process information, mimicking the way synapses work in the human brain.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying these chips are like tiny brains?
In a way, yes.
Wow.
These memristors can change their electrical resistance based on the signals they receive,
Okay.
allowing them to learn from data.
Yeah.
And this ability to process information right there in the memory, what's called in-memory computing, is what eliminates that von Neumann bottleneck we were talking about.
Right.
No more traffic jams.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes.
So instead of moving data back and forth, you can do everything right there in the memory.
Right.
It's like having a super fast brain that's also incredibly energy efficient.
Precisely. Precisely. And this means that these chips can process information at terahertz levels, which is trillions of cycles per second.
Wow.
We're talking about speeds that are simply unimaginable with silicon.
Okay, so we've gone from the limitations of silicon to this incredible potential of carbon.
Right.
What I'm wondering now is, what does this mean for, well, everything?
Yeah.
How will this change the world as we know it?
That's where things get really interesting, because when you have this kind of speed and efficiency,
Right.
the potential applications are vast.
All right, tell me more. I'm ready to have my mind blown.
Let's start with something you use every day. Your phone.
Okay.
Imagine a phone that's so powerful it can do real-time language translation or complex image processing without breaking a sweat.
Okay, that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But we've heard about these kinds of promises with AI before.
Right.
What makes you think this time is different?
It's the combination of speed efficiency and scalability.
Okay.
These carbon-based chips are not just a small improvement.
Right.
They represent a fundamental shift in what's possible.
All right, I'm listening. Give me some more examples.
Sure.
What else could this technology change?
Well, think about medicine. Imagine doctors using AI-powered devices to diagnose diseases instantly or create personalized treatment plans in real time.
Wow.
Or think about climate science, where researchers could run incredibly detailed climate models
Right.
to better understand and address climate change.
So we're not just talking about faster phones.
No.
We're talking about solving some of the world's biggest problems.
Exactly. And it's not just about solving problems. It's about creating new possibilities.
Right.
Think about self-driving cars that are safer and more efficient, drones that can navigate complex environments with ease,
Right.
or even personalized learning platforms that adapt to each student's individual needs.
This is starting to sound like something straight out of science fiction.
I know.
But it's real, right? Like, this isn't just a theory.
It's real, and it's happening now.
Wow.
Of course, there are still challenges to overcome, like figuring out how to mass produce these chips and making sure the technology is used responsibly.
Okay, that makes sense. So it sounds like we're at the beginning of a carbon-based AI revolution.
We are, and it's an exciting time to be following this technology because it has the potential to touch every aspect of our lives, from the way we work, to the way we connect with each other,
Right.
to the way we solve some of humanity's greatest challenges.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
You have.
We've gone from silicon's limits to the mind-blowing potential of carbon.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in,
It is.
but I think you've done a great job of explaining it all so far.
Thanks.
Before we move on to the next part, where we'll explore the science behind these chips in more detail, I'd like to get your take on something. I mean, this is clearly a major technological breakthrough,
Yeah.
but is there anything about this that makes you nervous?
That's a really good question. And honestly, it's one that everyone should be asking, because with any powerful new technology, there are always potential downsides.
Right.
We need to be thinking carefully about how this technology will impact jobs' privacy and even the balance of power on a global scale.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that this technology could lead to so many amazing things.
Right.
But we also need to make sure it doesn't create new problems in the process.
Exactly. And that's something we'll be exploring in more detail in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so listeners, get ready to go even deeper into the world of carbon-based AI chips.
Yes.
We'll be back in a flash to break down the science behind these incredible devices.
Sounds good. Welcome back. We've laid out the why behind the shift to carbon, but now let's dig into the how.
Okay, I'm ready to get a little more technical.
All right.
You mentioned these carbon nanotubes and memristors.
Right.
What exactly are they, and how do they work together to create these super fast chips?
Well, let's start with the carbon nanotubes, or CNTs.
Okay.
You can think of them as incredibly tiny, rolled-up sheets of graphene.
Graphene, that rings a bell.
Yeah.
Isn't that stuff supposed to be super strong?
It is. Graphene is essentially a one-atom-thick layer of carbon arranged in a honeycomb pattern.
Okay.
This structure gives it incredible strength and flexibility, but even more importantly for our purposes, it can conduct electricity about 10 times faster than silicon.
Wow.
And when you roll this graphene up into a tube, you get a carbon nanotube.
So it's like a super highway for electrons, but even smaller and faster.
You got. Now let's add in the memristors.
Okay.
These components can actually change their electrical resistance based on the signals they receive. It's a bit like how synapses in the human brain strengthen or weaken connections based on experience.
So these chips are kind of like learning as they go? adapting to the information they process.
Exactly. It's this ability to both store and process information that makes memristors so powerful for AI.
Okay.
Traditional chips have to constantly move data back and forth between memory and the processor.
Right.
But with memristors, you can do the processing right there in the memory itself, which is what's called in-memory computing.
And that eliminates the von Neumann bottleneck we talked about earlier, right?
Precisely, no more traffic jams.
Got it.
By combining CNTs with memristors in a 3D architecture, you get a chip that can perform parallel processing at a scale that silicon simply can't match.
Right.
It's like having a super fast brain that's also incredibly energy efficient.
Okay, this is all starting to click for me now.
Good.
So we've got the super fast highways of CNTs.
Yes.
And we've got the brain-like learning of memristors.
Right.
But what's the secret sauce that brings it all together?
Well, one key is precision.
Okay.
Researchers have developed sophisticated techniques to grow and align CNTs with incredible accuracy, forming dense and efficient circuits. They've also figured out how to stabilize memristors and improve their durability, making them suitable for real-world applications.
I imagine it's pretty challenging to build something at such a tiny scale.
It is, and that's actually one of the challenges ahead. Scaling up production to meet the demands of a global market will require significant innovation in manufacturing techniques.
Makes sense. So, as amazing as these chips sound, it's not like they're going to be in our phones next week.
Probably not, but things are moving quickly.
Okay.
And the potential impact is worth getting excited about.
Absolutely. But let's shift gears for a moment.
Sure.
We've been talking about the amazing potential of these chips.
Yeah.
But what about potential downsides?
Right.
Are there risks or concerns we should be thinking about?
That's a crucial question. Every technological leap comes with its own set of challenges and potential pitfalls.
So what are some of the things that worry you?
Well, as with any powerful technology, there's always the risk of unintended consequences.
Okay.
For example, imagine AI systems becoming so advanced that they can make decisions that have a significant impact on individuals.
Right.
Or even entire societies.
Yeah.
Who is accountable if those decisions turn out to be harmful?
That's a scary thought.
It is, and we need to have these conversations now, before this technology becomes so ingrained in our lives that it's difficult to control.
Are there other concerns beyond the potential negative impacts?
Absolutely. One thing that concerns me is the potential for job displacement.
Okay.
As AI systems become more capable, they may be able to perform tasks that are currently done by humans, leading to job losses in certain sectors.
That's a valid concern. We've seen similar disruptions with automation in the past.
Exactly. And while it's true that new jobs and industries will likely emerge as well,
right,
we need to be prepared to support workers who are affected by this transition.
So it's not just about developing the technology,
right,
but also considering the broader societal and economic impacts.
Precisely. Technological innovation should be driven by a desire to improve lives and create a better future for everyone.
Well said. It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But it's important that we have these conversations alongside the excitement about the possibilities.
I completely agree. Responsible innovation requires careful consideration of both the benefits and the risks.
Okay, so we've explored the science behind carbon-based AI chips, discussed their potential benefits and drawbacks, and touched on some important ethical and societal considerations.
We have.
But there's another layer to this story that we need to delve into. The geopolitical implications.
Yes, that's a crucial aspect of this breakthrough. Remember earlier when I mentioned that the team that developed this chip was in China?
Yes.
That puts them at the forefront of the AI hardware race.
Right.
And that has significant implications for global technology and power dynamics.
It sounds like we're entering a new era of technological competition.
We might be. Think about it. For decades, Silicon Valley in the United States has been the undisputed leader in the tech industry.
Right.
But China has been investing heavily in AI research and development for years, and this breakthrough is a testament to their commitment and progress.
So we're seeing a shift in the balance of power.
Potentially, yes. The ability to control and manufacture this technology could give China a significant economic and strategic advantage. It could also lead to a new wave of innovation and competition as other countries strive to catch up.
What about the potential for collaboration? Could this lead to international partnerships and knowledge sharing?
That's certainly a possibility, but it's also likely to be intertwined with competition and national interests.
Yeah.
We're already seeing tensions between the US and China over technology and trade, and this could further complicate those dynamics.
So it's a complex landscape with a lot of unknowns.
It is, and it's essential to approach this new era with a balance of optimism and caution.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the science behind carbon-based AI chips, discussed their potential benefits and drawbacks,
Right.
and touched on the ethical, societal, and geopolitical implications.
It's a lot.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle I'm curious about. What does this mean for the future of AI itself?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
It's important to remember that this is still early days for this technology. While the breakthroughs are impressive, there are still challenges to overcome before these chips become widely available and integrated into our everyday lives.
So we're not going to see carbon-based AI taking over the world tomorrow?
Not quite, but the potential here is enormous.
Okay, right.
If this technology continues to develop as expected, it could lead to a paradigm shift in AI capabilities.
Can you give us a glimpse into what that future might look like?
Sure.
What kinds of things will be possible with this kind of computing power?
Well, for one, we could see a dramatic acceleration in the development and deployment of AI systems across various industries.
Okay.
This could lead to breakthroughs in areas like healthcare, transportation, manufacturing, and even entertainment.
Can you give us some concrete examples?
Sure.
I'm a sucker for a good future tech scenario.
Imagine AI-powered medical devices that can diagnose diseases with incredible accuracy and speed.
Okay.
Personalized treatment plans that adapt to individual patients in real time.
Wow.
Or even robots that can assist with surgery with incredible precision.
Okay, color me impressed. What about other industries?
In transportation, self-driving cars could become even safer and more efficient,
Right.
leading to reduced traffic congestion and accidents.
Yeah.
In manufacturing, robots could work alongside humans performing complex tasks with speed and accuracy,
Right.
leading to increased productivity and lower costs.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a technological revolution.
It certainly feels that way, and it's important to remember that this is just the beginning.
Right.
As carbon-based AI chips become more sophisticated and integrated into our lives, we can expect to see even more transformative applications emerge.
Okay, so we've explored the potential impact on various industries, but what about the impact on society as a whole?
Right.
How could this technology change the way we live, work, and interact with the world?
That's a fascinating question. One potential outcome is that AI could become much more ubiquitous and integrated into our daily lives. Imagine smart homes that can anticipate our needs, personalized learning platforms that adapt to individual learning styles, or even virtual assistants that can help us manage our schedules and finances.
It's like having a personal butler powered by AI. Sign me up.
Exactly. And this could free up our time and energy to focus on things that matter most to us.
Right.
Whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing our passions, or simply enjoying life's simple pleasures.
This all sounds incredible,
It is.
but let's be real for a second. This technology is still in its early stages.
Yeah.
What are some of the hurdles that need to be overcome before we see these carbon-based AI chips become mainstream?
That's a great question, and it brings us back to those challenges we touched on earlier.
Okay.
One of the biggest hurdles is scalability.
Right.
Right now, these chips are being produced in relatively small quantities, mainly for research purposes.
Right.
To make them commercially viable, we need to figure out how to mass produce them efficiently and cost effectively.
Makes sense. So it's a manufacturing challenge.
It is, but there are other challenges as well.
Okay.
For example, we need to develop new software and algorithms that can take full advantage of the unique capabilities of these chips.
Right.
Traditional AI software is designed for silicon-based architectures.
Right.
So we need to rethink how we design and train AI models for this new hardware.
That sounds like a pretty big task.
It is, but it's also an incredible opportunity for innovation.
Yeah.
We're essentially entering a new era of computing, and that opens up a whole new world of possibilities for software developers and AI researchers.
Okay, so we've got the manufacturing challenge and the software challenge. Anything else?
Well, there's also the issue of integration.
Okay.
These chips need to be integrated into existing systems and devices.
Right.
That means developing new standards and protocols and ensuring compatibility with a wide range of hardware and software platforms.
Right.
It's a complex ecosystem, and it will take time for everything to fall into place.
Right, so it sounds like we're still a few years away from seeing carbon-based AI chips in our smartphones and laptops.
Probably, but the progress is happening rapidly.
Okay.
And in the meantime, we can already see the impact of this technology in research labs and cutting-edge industries.
Well, it's certainly an exciting time to be following this field.
It is, and it's a great reminder that technological innovation is a continuous process.
Right.
We're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and that drive to explore and discover is what leads to breakthroughs like this one.
Absolutely. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the potential impact of carbon-based AI chips on industries, society,
Right.
the future of AI itself, and even our daily lives.
Absolutely.
But before we move on to the final part of our exploration,
Okay.
I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
Yes. It's been a fascinating journey through the possibilities and challenges of this groundbreaking technology.
What stands out to you most from our discussion?
For me, it's the sheer potential of this technology to reshape our world. The speed, efficiency, and scalability of carbon-based AI chips open up new horizons for innovation and problem-solving across a wide range of fields.
I agree. It's exciting to think about the possibilities,
Yeah.
but it's also important to approach this new era with a sense of responsibility
Right.
and awareness of the potential risks.
Absolutely. We need to ensure that AI development is guided by ethical principles and a focus on human well-being.
Well said. Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, we want to hear from you.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on what we've discussed so far?
Yeah, tell us.
What excites you most about the potential of carbon-based AI, and what concerns do you have?
Right.
Share your thoughts with us, and we'll be back in a flash to delve into the final chapter of our exploration. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into carbon-based AI chips.
Yes.
It's been an incredible journey so far. We've explored the science, the potential, and the challenges of this game-changing technology.
It really has, and it's been great to see your enthusiasm for this topic.
Well, thank you.
It's clear that you're already thinking deeply about the implications of this breakthrough.
Well, and it's not every day that we come across a technology that has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives.
You're absolutely right. And in this final part of our deep dive, we want to shift our focus from the broad implications to something a bit more personal.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What do you mean by that?
Well, we've talked about how carbon-based AI could transform industries, reshape society, and even redefine the future of AI itself. But now we want to bring it back to you, the listener.
I like where this is going.
We want to explore how this technology could impact your life, your work, and your future.
That's a great idea. After all, technology is ultimately about people.
Exactly. So let's start by considering your field of interest.
Okay.
We know that you're interested in listeners' field of interest.
Right.
How do you think carbon-based AI could impact that field?
That's a great question for our listeners to ponder.
Yeah.
Take a moment to think about the specific challenges and opportunities in your field. How could faster, more efficient, and more accessible AI change the game?
For example, if you're in healthcare, imagine having access to AI-powered diagnostic tools that can analyze medical images with incredible speed and accuracy,
Right.
or personalized treatment plans that can adapt to individual patients in real time.
Or if you're in finance, imagine AI algorithms that can analyze market trends and make investment recommendations with unprecedented precision.
The possibilities are truly endless, and as carbon-based AI becomes more sophisticated and affordable, it could empower individuals and organizations of all sizes to leverage the power of AI in ways that were previously unimaginable.
It's like democratizing access to cutting-edge technology.
Precisely, and that's one of the most exciting aspects of this breakthrough.
Yeah.
It has the potential to level the playing field and empower individuals and communities that have traditionally been excluded from the benefits of technological advancements.
So we've talked about the potential impact on your field of interest, but what about your personal life? How could carbon-based AI enhance your daily experiences?
Imagine a world where your smart home can anticipate your needs.
Right.
Your car can drive itself, and your virtual assistant can handle your schedule and finances with ease.
It sounds like a future where technology seamlessly integrates into our lives, making things easier and more efficient.
Exactly, and this could free up our time and energy to focus on things that matter most to us.
Right.
Whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing our passions, or simply enjoying life's simple pleasures.
This all sounds incredible, but let's be real for a second. This technology is still in its early stages.
Yeah.
What are some of the hurdles that need to be overcome before we see these carbon-based AI chips become mainstream?
That's a great question, and it brings us back to those challenges we touched on earlier. One of the biggest hurdles is scalability.
Okay.
Right now, these chips are being produced in relatively small quantities, mainly for research purposes.
Right.
To make them commercially viable, we need to figure out how to mass produce them efficiently and cost effectively.
Makes sense. So it's a manufacturing challenge.
It is, but there are other challenges as well. For example, we need to develop new software and algorithms that can take full advantage of the unique capabilities of these chips.
Right.
Traditional AI software is designed for silicon-based architectures, so we need to rethink how we design and train AI models for this new hardware.
That sounds like a pretty big task.
It is, but it's also an incredible opportunity for innovation.
Right.
We're essentially entering a new era of computing, and that opens up a whole new world of possibilities for software developers and AI researchers.
Okay, so we've got the manufacturing challenge and the software challenge. Anything else?
Well, there's also the issue of integration.
Right.
These chips need to be integrated into existing systems and devices.
Right.
That means developing new standards and protocols and ensuring compatibility with a wide range of hardware and software platforms.
Right.
It's a complex ecosystem, and it will take time for everything to fall into place.
Right. So it sounds like we're still a few years away from seeing carbon-based AI chips in our smartphones and laptops.
Probably, but the progress is happening rapidly. And in the meantime, we can already see the impact of this technology in research labs and cutting-edge industries.
Well, certainly an exciting time to be following this field.
It is, and it's a great reminder that technological innovation is a continuous process. We're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and that drive to explore and discover is what leads to breakthroughs like this one.
Absolutely. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've gone from silicon's limits to the mind-blowing potential of carbon. We've explored the science, the possibilities, and the challenges.
And we've even touched on some of the bigger picture implications for society and the future of AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this episode, I'm going to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the potential of this technology.
We have.
But ultimately, it's up to all of us to shape how this technology is developed and used.
That's right. It's important to remember that technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
So as we move into this new era of carbon-based AI, let's make sure we're asking the tough questions, considering the ethical implications, and working together to create a future where this technology benefits all of humanity.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of carbon-based AI chips. We hope you've enjoyed the journey, and we encourage you to continue exploring this fascinating topic.
Until next time.
Enjoying the content? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more amazing content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support keeps us going. Thanks for being awesome.
A cutting-edge carbon-based AI chip can process data 1,000 times faster than the fastest traditional silicon-based AI chips, completing in seconds what once took minutes. This staggering leap in speed hints at a revolution in AI capabilities, from real-time language translation to solving complex climate models. What makes carbon-based chips so transformative? Let's dive into the science reshaping the future of computing. Before we begin with this intriguing story, we appreciate that you subscribe to our channel, share, and like our video so that we can bring you more content similar to this one. Thank you so much for your support. A team of Chinese scientists has shattered computing boundaries by developing the world's first carbon-based AI chip, leveraging revolutionary carbon nanotube and memristor technology. This innovation isn't just faster, it's a seismic leap forward, outpacing traditional silicon chips by 1,000 times in speed while consuming 10 times less energy. Why this changes everything? What once took days to train a complex AI model could now be done in hours, or even minutes. Data centers, notorious for their massive power consumption, could slash energy use dramatically, aligning with global sustainability goals. Imagine smartphones, drones, or medical devices performing real-time AI tasks, like diagnosing diseases or autonomous navigation, with unprecedented efficiency. The science behind the magic. The chip combines carbon nanotubes, super strong conductors 10,000 times thinner than a human hair, with memristors, memory resistors that mimic human brain synapses. This hybrid architecture enables parallel processing at scales silicon can't match, overcoming the physical limits of traditional chips. Global implications. Published in a leading scientific journal, this breakthrough positions China at the forefront of the $10 trillion AI hardware race. If commercialized, it could disrupt industries from quantum computing to climate modeling, making AI faster, greener, and more accessible worldwide. As the Chinese team stated, this isn't just an upgrade, it's a new era of computing. The future of AI is here, and it's built on carbon. The growing crisis in AI hardware. Why silicon is hitting its limits. As AI models grow exponentially larger and more complex, traditional silicon-based chips are struggling to keep up. Here's why the $100 billion AI industry is crying out for a revolution. 1. Speed. The transistor trap. Silicon transistors, the building blocks of modern chips, can't shrink forever. At 2 to 3 nanometers, just a few atoms thick, quantum tunneling causes errors, making faster chips harder to build. Even top-tier GPUs and TPUs face bottlenecks when handling massive neural networks. Training models like GPT-4 can take weeks, slowing innovation in critical fields like drug discovery or climate science. 2. Energy efficiency. The silent crisis. AI training consumes as much energy as a small city. A single data center can use 100 plus megawatts annually, equivalent to 80,000 homes. Silicon chips waste energy as heat. Cooling systems in servers often use 40% of total power, creating a vicious cycle of inefficiency. 3. The von Neumann bottleneck. Traditional chips separate memory and processing, forcing data to shuttle back and forth. This highway jam wastes time and energy. 90% of power in AI tasks is spent moving data, not computing. Why carbon-based chips are the answer. The breakthrough by Chinese scientists addresses these pain points head-on. Carbon nanotubes conduct electrons 10x faster than silicon, enabling terahertz-scale processing. Memristors, memory plus resistor, process data in memory, slashing energy use by 90% and eliminating the von Neumann bottleneck. Carbon's atomic structure allows denser circuits without overheating, bypassing silicon's quantum limits. The stakes couldn't be higher. By 2030, AI could account for 10 to 20% of global electricity demand. Without a radical shift, the climate cost of AI could offset its benefits. Carbon-based chips aren't just a tech upgrade, they're a necessity for sustainable innovation. As one researcher put it, silicon got us here, but carbon will take us to the stars. The race to reinvent computing has just begun. The science and innovation behind carbon-based AI chips. The development of carbon-based AI chips marks a paradigm shift in computing, blending cutting-edge materials science with neuromorphic engineering. Here's a deep dive into the research process, the science, and why carbon outperforms silicon. 1. The research process. Overcoming decades-old barriers. Early carbon nanotubes, CNTs, were plagued by defects and impurities. Researchers refined chemical vapor deposition techniques to achieve 99.99% purity, critical for reliable conductivity. CNTs are minuscule, 1 to 2 nanometers in diameter, and must align precisely on a chip. The team developed a self-assembly method using DNA scaffolding to orient nanotubes into dense, ordered arrays. Memristors, memory resistors, mimic synaptic plasticity but often degraded over time. The scientists engineered a graphene oxide layer to stabilize switching cycles, boosting durability. By integrating CNTs with memristors in a 3D stacked architecture, the team created a chip that processes and stores data simultaneously, something silicon cannot do efficiently. 2. The science. How carbon-based chips work. Core components. Carbon nanotubes, CNTs, 10x faster electron mobility than silicon, enabling terahertz-level processing speeds. Flexible structure. Can be fabricated into dense, energy-efficient transistors. Memristors. Neuromorphic design. Mimic brain synapses, allowing analog computation for AI tasks. In-memory computing. Eliminates the need to shuttle data between memory and processors, reducing latency and energy use. 3. Advantages. Why carbon outshines silicon. Speed and efficiency. 1,000 times faster training. A CNT memristor chip can train a neural network in minutes instead of days. Analog computation. Memristors process data in parallel, ideal for AI's matrix multiplications. Energy revolution. 10 times lower power consumption. Reduces data center energy use from gigawatts to megawatts. Passive cooling. Carbon's thermal conductivity prevents overheating, eliminating costly cooling systems. Scalability and sustainability. Smaller nodes. Carbon allows 0.5 nanometers transistors versus silicon's 2 nanometers limit. Eco-friendly. Carbon is abundant and recyclable, unlike rare earth metals in silicon chips. New applications. Edge AI. Enables real-time AI in wearables, drones, and IoT devices. Quantum classical hybrids. Could bridge classical computing with quantum systems for error correction. 4. The road ahead. From lab to market. While the breakthrough is groundbreaking, challenges remain. Mass production. Scaling CNT fabrication to industrial levels. Software ecosystem. Adapting AI frameworks to leverage analog computation. Yet, the implications are clear. Carbon-based chips could democratize AI, making it faster, greener, and accessible to industries from healthcare to space exploration. As the researchers stated, this isn't just about competing with silicon, it's about redefining what's possible. Experimental results. Carbon-based AI chip outperforms silicon in every metric. The Chinese research team's carbon-based chip, detailed in a landmark study published in Nature Electronics, delivered jaw-dropping performance in head-to-head tests against leading silicon GPUs and neuromorphic chips. Here's the breakdown. 1. Speed. ResNet 50, image recognition, trained in 8 seconds versus 72 minutes on an NVIDIA A100 GPU. BERT, language model, completed in 12 minutes versus 14 hours on a Google TPU. Inference speed. Processed 10 million images per second on ImageNet, compared to 10,000 sec on a top-tier Intel CPU. Y. Carbon nanotubes terahertz-level electron mobility and memristors analog parallel processing bypass silicon's serial bottlenecks. 2. Energy efficiency. Power consumption. Consumed 0.5 watts to train a mid-sized AI model versus 50 watts on a silicon GPU. 99% energy reduction. Data center simulations showed a 90% drop in total energy use for large-scale AI workloads. Thermal performance. Operated at 35 degrees Celsius, room temperature, without cooling, whereas silicon chips hit 85 degrees Celsius and required liquid cooling. 3. Scalability. Transistor density. Packed 100 million CNT transistors per square millimeter versus 10 million in silicon's 2 nanometers node. 3D integration. Achieved 8 layers of stacked memristors, silicon maxes at 2 layers, enabling unprecedented computational density. 4. Real-world tests. Edge computing. Ran real-time object detection on a drone using 1/10 the power of a smartphone chip. Medical imaging. Diagnosed lung cancer from CT scans in 0.2 seconds versus 15 seconds on a clinical-grade GPU. 5. Durability and stability. Memristor endurance. Survived 1 trillion read and write cycles with less than 1% accuracy loss. Silicon-based memristors degrade after 100 billion cycles. Temperature tolerance. Functioned flawlessly from -50 degrees Celsius to 150 degrees Celsius, outperforming silicon's narrow operational range, -10 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. Independent validation. The results were replicated by 3 global labs, with MIT's AI hardware lab calling it the first credible alternative to silicon that doesn't just iterate, it reinvents. What's next? The team is now optimizing the chip for mass production, with prototypes slated for testing in autonomous vehicles and AI-driven climate models by 2025. If scaled, this tech could cut global AI energy use by 30% by 2030, a climate game-changer. The message is clear. Silicon's reign is ending, and carbon is ready to power the next AI revolution. This breakthrough positions carbon as the backbone of next-gen computing, challenging silicon's 70-year dominance. If commercialized, it could democratize AI access for startups and developing nations, leveling the tech playing field. As one Chinese researcher noted, we're not just building faster chips, we're reimagining how humanity solves problems. If you like the content in this episode, please also check out other videos on this channel and subscribe for more updates on China's technology advancements and developments. That's all we have for now, and thank you for tuning in.